Everyone always thinks of T'Challa when it comes to the Black Panther, but this hero's story goes beyond this character, okay? Today, we break down the MCU Black Panther history in only 10 minutes. Let's go back to how it all started. This is way before T'Challa fought Thanos with the Avengers. A meteorite crashed on Earth, spreading vibranium all over a big chunk of Africa. This metal became the key to Wakanda's technological progress, and the heart-shaped herb was source of all of Black Panther's amazing powers. Among all Wakandans, Bashenga was chosen by the goddess Bast. She led him to the heart-shaped herb that had been infused by the vibranium on the ground so he could become the first ever Black Panther. With this magnificent power running through his veins, Bashenga inspired and united 4 of the 5 Wakandan tribes. The stubborn Jabari decided to remain on their own. Bashenga became Wakanda's first king and its first protector, Black Panther. His title became one of the most important roles for the civilization and was inherited by Bashenga's descendants up until the present day. Of course, the MCU didn't cover the hundreds of years between Bashenga and now, but it introduced some of the best Black Panthers in the modern era, starting with T'Chaka.
The MCU covered very little about T'Chaka's time as Wakanda's king, but he was the first man to wield the Black Panther in the movies, at least chronologically.
This monarch was concerned with keeping his land's technology a secret from others. This was so important for him that he ended up killing his own brother, N'Jobu. During Black Panther, it was revealed that N'Jobu had become radicalized during his time living in the US, and he was planning a coup set on sharing Wakanda's progress with the world. T'Chaka attempted to talk to him about this, but N'Jobu became violent, and the Black Panther impaled him with his claws, leaving N'Jadaka, his son, behind. After killing his brother to protect his nation, T'Chaka returned to Wakanda, where he raised his T'Challa and Shuri alongside his wife, Queen Ramonda. However, he never told his family about what happened, still thinking the best path forward was to keep Wakanda's borders closed. Decades after this happened, T'Chaka died during a planned attack at the United Nations by the Winter Soldier. After the king's death, his son T'Challa had been the Black Panther for a while, but now he also had to become king. At the time, the fans and the Wakandans didn't know it, but it was the beginning of a new era for Wakanda. Now we can talk about T'Challa, the hero who made Black Panther mainstream thanks to the MCU. Although a quite wise man, T'Challa's first act as a king was to get involved in the superhero civil war. Of course, since the Winter Soldier had killed his father, he took Iron Man's side. Bucky didn't want to do it. He was manipulated by Helmut Zemo to kickstart the superhero civil war in the first place. Fortunately, T'Challa came to his senses once he learned the truth. He captured Zemo, delivered him to justice, and even invited Bucky to Wakanda. 2 years after the Civil War, T'Challa had to deal with the consequences of his father's past. When his cousin N'Jadaka made his way into Wakanda to dethrone him. And N'Jadaka wasn't just N'Jadaka anymore. He was Eric Stevens, aka Killmonger, aka one of the most equipped Black Ops Navy SEALs. After an epic fight where both warriors showed their, feline dexterity, Killmonger defeated T'Challa and took the crown for himself. Of course, instead of ruling Wakanda peacefully, N'Jadaka is set to deliver Wakandan technology to the world, continuing his father's mission. Fortunately for Wakandans, T'Challa survived and he demanded a second round, this time ending Killmonger for good at Mount Bashenga. After killing his own cousin in battle, T'Challa realized N'Jadaka wasn't completely wrong. Wakanda was being selfish, and it was time to show its true nature to the world. Not only did T'Challa share Wakanda's tech with other countries, but he expanded his own role as Black Panther. He went from protecting his nation to protecting the whole world alongside Earth's mightiest heroes. Besides dealing with the superhero civil war as king, T'Challa was Wakanda's head during Thanos' attack on Earth. Talk about a busy administration. In fact, Wakanda became the setting for Thanos' snap. The most important moment in the whole Infinity Saga happened in this nation. Wakanda was the only country in the world that had the technology to remove the Mind Stone from Vision without killing him. Unfortunately, as the Avengers arrived, so did the Mad Titan, and there was no time to really stop him. As the villain snapped half of the universe's life out of existence, T'Challa turned into dust on his own land. Fast forward 5 whole years, we all know this. The remaining Avengers brought back their allies to the, epic time heist. T'Challa fought Thanos. He was never officially named as an Avenger, but we all know better than, to believe he wasn't one. A year later, after the battle for Earth, T'Challa died of an unspecified illness. Let's get serious for a moment. Black Panther's death was never Marvel Studios' plan for the character. Sadly, Chadwick Boseman tragically passed away in 2020. Disney decided to honor Boseman's legacy as T'Challa and ended his story instead of, recasting. And this made sense. Boseman had been playing the role amazingly for half a decade. At that point, it was a time for a new Panther, not a new T'Challa. There's a new Black Panther, but this didn't happen immediately after T'Challa's death. Shuri is unsure about the idea of new Black Panther. With all the heart-shaped herb gone after Killmonger burned it, the princess struggles to accept her brother's death, especially because this tragedy could have been avoided by this plant. Shuri thinks the Black Panther is an obsolete title, but the world, really needs it. The vibranium race in the world becomes more and more tense. The US attempts to find this metal in the sea, unintentionally crossing world lines with the Talokan, Namor's underwater nation. So T'Challa opened Wakanda's doors to the world, and now every country wants a piece of vibranium. Of course, Namor blames this nation for drawing attention to the Talokan and demands Shuri to fix it. It's a war among two super powerful countries, and that can't end well, can it? Not really. When Namor kills Queen Ramonda, Shuri sets on revenge against the Water People. To do this, she uses her amazing brain to, recreate the heart-shaped herb and consumes it, gaining the Black Panther abilities. Up until this point, the Wakandan princess had established herself as one of the smartest characters in the MCU, and by helping Bucky regain control, she had also shown her heart. It was time for her to show her strength too. While the war against Talokan gave us Black Panther back, it also exhausted Shuri emotionally, leading her to renounce Wakanda's throne, leaving M'Baku to take it. In the end, a vision of her own mother convinces Shuri to choose peace, so she strikes a deal with Namor, turning Talokan into an ally, or is it? The Wakandan princess doesn't know it, but Namor's intentions aren't good. He's planning to use this alliance to become even stronger. In the meantime, don't worry, Shuri has ensured the future of the Black Panther mantle by planting more of her newly created heart-shaped herb. This is great timing, since Wakanda's forever mid-credits scene reveals she definitely won't be the last Black Panther. As it turns out, T'Challa had a son with Nakia. Yep. His name is Toussaint. Although his Wakandan name is T'Challa too, and, he's been raised outside the pressures of the throne, but fans can only hope he continues his father's legacy in the future. And speaking of the future, following the massive cast reveal for Avengers Doomsday, now we know Shuri will return to the fight alongside the Avengers. In fact, Namor will be in the film too. So the fruit of Wakanda and Talokan's alliance may be revealed in the MCU soon. So this can only mean more adventures for Black Panther. Wakanda forever! The Black Panther story in the MCU has been going strong for almost a decade, and it's definitely far from over. Toussaint may be one of the many next-generation heroes the MCU is setting up lately. Besides following the massive Secret Wars concept art leak, we now know Marvel Studios may be planning a prequel since there was art for T'Chaka's father. Wouldn't that be cool? Wakanda's history from before the modern era would be super interesting to explore. Tell us, would you like to see a prequel to Black Panther? Let us know in the comments below. Until next time, and thanks for watching CBR.